Welcome to Radio Horror tonight here at WCW as we cover a lot of music, and we have played a lot of Alien music. We haven't played yet music from Alienearth by Jeff Russo, but we will tonight. The music you've heard before this interview and after this interview is by Jeff Russo from the TV series Alienearth, which is now on Hulu, and you can stream it. And it's a show set, I think, 2 years before the events of the original film, if I'm not mistaken, based on timeline, if anything is accurate. And the composer for that excellent music is on the show with us now. Thank you for joining us, Jeff.
Thank you for having me. I work with the filmmaker Noah Hawley. I've done all of his projects. So when he called me and he said I'm developing a show in the alien world, what do you think? And I was in from the beginning. Noah
Oh,
Hawley did Fargo and Legion, and I worked with him on
Legion. Okay, that was the yeah, I was thinking of a Marvel comic show. So I was in the Marvel universe. So I just had the wrong show in my head.
Yeah,
Um
I mean, it's sort of like Marvel by association, but not really Marvel.
it's a by association when it's referenced by Deadpool.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a Marvel produced show, but it is, a character that was in the Marvel comic world. That's for sure.
But you've had some sci-fi cred with Star Trek Picard, right?
I did Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard, and I wrote the main theme for Star Trek, The Stranger World.
Was the Alien universe foreign to you? Were you a pretty good fan of the franchise up to this point?
Oh, no, I mean the alien universe is definitely not foreign to me. I saw Aliens in the movie theater when I was a teenager and then went back and saw Alien, the first one. And I have a little history with working in a world in which Jerry Goldsmith does the first movie, James Horner does the second movie, and then it sort of springs the entire universe out from there, where Goldsmith did the first motion picture for Star Trek and Horner did the second. The same cadence was in the Alien world.
When you compose music, do you get access to all the scripts ahead of time so you know what's going to happen, or are you watching it like seeing the film, TV show on the screen and then doing it? Because I've seen it, I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, I mean it is, there's no one way to do it. With Noah, I typically work having read the scripts very early on. I've been working on Alien for about 5 years, pretty much as long as he has.
Is that how long the show's been in development? It was 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think he started talking about Alien maybe in 2019. There was a script at the end of 2020. So yeah, about 5 years.
When doing a TV show with with that kind of jumps around like this, is it it goes from being dramatic to straight up just science fiction to a straight up horror creature show sometimes.
Mm.
Do you really have to study the cues to see like how the pace is going to change with the music?
Well, yes, I mean it's all sort of a one thing informs the other informs the other. So I'm definitely reading the scripts, getting my ideas from there, and then seeing it on screen is kind of a different idea. It's a different thing altogether. So it's a combination of all the things. But yes, it's a very sort of deep dive into the way things look and the way things feel and how I want to help the audience experience that.
What instruments do you play?
Well, I play a lot of different instruments. I play guitar and drums and piano and other kinds of keyboards and really anything with a string on it and anything with a dial, synthesizers, anything that I can hit. I mean, I I don't typically play any woodwind instruments. Those are a
Huh?
little bit something I've never really tried. I did a little bit, but not really.
For the music files out there, any what kind of guitars? What's the brand for your instruments?
I don't have one brand, I would say. I own probably 30 or 40 different guitars of varying brands and types and sizes and string amounts, and it's a whole plethora of things. So I have a wide variety to choose from when I'm using them. I don't typically play guitar or use guitar on scores. Occasionally I'm asked to, and then I do, but not that much.
When it came to alien music, did you was it a matter of you redoing a famous sting done by Jerry back in the day in your own unique way? You know, like Aliens always got that whine to it when something suspenseful happens, and yeah, I can't do it myself. I'm not musically inclined, even though I do run a radio show. But you know what I'm talking about, right? It's usually when the
Yeah, I know.
alien pops
I know.
up.
I know what you're talking about. Like, no, the idea wasn't to try to reinvent something. The idea was, you study it, and you kind of try to figure out what it is that a particular idea, sound, musical motif makes the viewer feel, and then you try to craft something that makes the viewer feel that same feeling, but with something unique.
There's a lot of needle drops at the end of every episode. Where are you involved with that?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Do you know why they're doing that?
I can only assume for narrative effect,
Okay.
and it's certainly a part of the way Noah tells a story. And it's very satisfying. It has a satisfying um feeling to it. So and also because it works, in my opinion.
I think everything kind of started with those like needle drops in movies hardcore. I mean, there have always been, but over the last was it 2025? So I'd say 11 years since Guardian of the Galaxy came out. It's like everyone needs to do that. Do you feel like that?
No, I don't. I think that songs have been used in films and television for, long, long, long time. And to varying degrees of effect, right? And in our show, it has its own effect, and it has a unique way to do that. I mean, to go back even far farther than what you're talking about is at the end of The Matrix. There's that Rage Against the Machine song that takes the whole movie out into the end credits. That was almost 30 years ago. So it's been done for a long time and to really great effect.
If you had to pick one of the Alien films that you absolutely love, which would it be? Out of the what have we've had now? Four, five, six, seven, not counting Alien versus Predator.
Alien versus Predator is not an alien movie.
Thank God you said that.
Um, I, you know, I the first two are the two. They're the two, right? I saw the second one first because I was too young to see the first one in the theater. So I'm a little partial to that. It had a profound effect on me as a movie viewer, as a movie watcher, moviegoer. Um, and then also had a profound effect on what I thought and figured you could do with music for narrative. Um, so I don't know. I would say only because it was first, I would say Aliens, the second movie, which was my first foray into seeing an
Oh, mine
alien
too.
movie.
Yeah, I saw Aliens long before I saw Alien, and I saw Aliens as a teenager because I knew what the alien was. Weird story. I remember Aliens came out roughly around the same time, maybe a year before, maybe a year after the film Alien Nation. And as a kid, I always thought the two were connected.
Oh, that's interesting.
But you're like 6, 7, 8 years old. You see the titles, and you're thinking, "Oh, these things come from this," even though that's not really true. As a composer, do you ever get to go to the set, or are you basically in the booth, just conducting it? Do you get to be on hand to really grasp what it is you need to write about for the music?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like but I do. I end up on set talking to Noah about how things feel. I send Noah music, far before they start shooting. So I kind of feel like he listens to that to sort of get an idea as to feel. And it's like, again, one thing informs the other thing informs the other thing. So I think everything has an impact on what you see and what you hear and what you feel.
Have you had pretty much freedom to do what you'd wish to do with the score, or do you have to stay within a limit given to you?
People ask that question all the time about freedom, and I'm not sure that the question exposes a flaw in people's thoughts about film music and what we do. It's not about freedom because making a movie or making a show is collaborative, right? So you are a collaborator with a filmmaker. There isn't freedom one way or another, I think. I think it's like an understanding as to what we're trying to do and to do that thing and what people think who inside of the collaborative effort is meaningful. I don't think it's about freedom one way or another. Like I write a melody, Noah may be like, okay, explain to me what this is meaning or what this is doing, or, it's not, maybe it's not doing exactly what he wanted it to do. So I will make an adjustment to try to get it so we're both feeling creatively fulfilled.
By the way, I have as you have composed the opening theme for it, I recommend Strange New Worlds to anybody I meet who I know is a either a casual Star Trek fan or at least just a fan in general.
Oh, yeah, it's a good show.
It's fantastic. I mean, this season I think has been the best of the three so far, and I'm so glad they got picked up for a fourth season before this one even brought started. So
Yeah, I get it.
it's great. It's just been well written characters too, and every episode of this season has been nuts. It kind of feels like one of those things when you watch TV. You're like, this season has so many different things happening in every episode. Every episode is so different and unique, and there's so many different things happening. I'm wondering if they worried they were not going to get another season after this, and they were just like, go nuts and do everything.
That happens at the end. When filmmakers know that it's going to be the end of the storytelling, they may decide to throw in the kitchen sink.
Uh-huh, definitely. Have you guys did you guys get announced yet to be picked up for a second season of Alien, or
Not that I'm aware of. I'm
so
almost positive, although I never know anything, but I would say I would be extremely surprised if someone said, "Oh, and we're going to have Predator in this season." I would be very surprised.
have you followed any of the expanded universe stuff? Did you see they just did Aliens versus Avengers?
No, I have not. I'm I'm not that close to it.
If do you how do you like your alien stories? Do you like the good guys that come on top, or do you want something depressing?
I feel like it's difficult to say. Like you know, the idea of the way we're telling this story is, you know, who's trying to kill who, and why. So who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? It's very, very murky.
I will say this: I'd wait till it gets collected. It came out like every 3 months. They kind of said that at the beginning, like this isn't coming out every month. This is not coming out every month. This is coming out every 3 months. So it took a while for them to finish the story because it was like they were like 40-page comic books. You know what I mean? They were thicker than your regular comic. But
Uh-huh.
it was one of the most depressing stories I have ever read in either Aliens or Avengers.
Well,
It is one of those stories without hope, and you're wondering when the hell do we avenge?
you know, I think stories do need some hope.
Indeed. This one is not one of those because I had somebody read it and they were like, "That was the most depressing story I have ever read of an Avengers." And I know who the aliens are. I only know the films, but God, that was depressing. And they just announced they're doing Alien versus Captain America set in World War II.
Aliens versus Captain America. Well, what are you gonna do?
I mean, you're never going to see Alien versus Star Wars because it's. I think it's one of those things that is like signed in a Bible that you do not cross the Star Wars universe over into anything.
Interesting.
I think the only time they ever did it was Marvel put out a what issue like a 100 stories anniversary thing for their like 75th anniversary, and it was 100 one-page stories in this kind of trade paperback form by 100 different teams. And it was one of the stories in there was a Darth Vader story, and that's the only time you've ever seen like Vader mix it up in the Marvel universe. But he's not doing anything in the Marvel universe. He's just having a story within that book, and usually they don't ever print it that way either. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alienearth can stay in its own lane for a while. I've been a fan for most of the franchise, with the exception of a couple things that have not been big favorites of. And I really hope this show does kind of go the length it needs to, 4 or 5 seasons. And kind of we'll see how it eventually connects to the rest of the franchise, which would be great.
I
And I
mean,
hope
I,
you
I
stay on
think
board for it.
I hope I do too.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for coming on the show. Do you have any social media that you're on that people can find you on that you'd like to plug?
Sure. Yeah. I'm on Instagram, Jefferson Russo.
Well, Jeff, keep up the good work on Alienearth. I've enjoyed it, and I look forward to the ending of this season and more to come.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure to talk.
Is there anything, by the way, I almost forgot to ask, kind of edit this around. Is there anything coming up that you're working on that it's already been announced that you could talk about, or is it too hush hush still?
Oh, I've been working on Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
Okay,
Um,
cool. That's coming. Yep. That
that's
was at
been
Comic Con.
yeah, that's been taking a lot of time. But it's been good. That's it. It's enough.
I gotcha. Well, again, thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on the show. I do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.